School bus, it come late.
It's okay. I'll yell at the bus driver tomorrow, Saturday. Okay. The floor plan for an apartment, floor plan, what are we thinking? Diagram, or should we use new and original? I would use diagram. Okay. The floor plan of an apartment shows a rectangular master bedroom that is 5 by 4.5. So I don't know, some of you I see you like a visual, so that's the bedroom. The plan was made using a scale factor of 0.02. That right there is telling us that K is 0.02. Are we surprised about it being 0.02? It's a reduction of the actual, so no, we're not surprised. All right, so we got to do some, we want the actual dimensions of the room. So this is, I'm going to call this length of diagram, sorry. And this is the width of the diagram. Okay, so we got that figured out. So we got to do a little bit of math here. We want the actual, right? This is our actual, this is the diagram. Okay, so we want this, and we want that of the actual room. So this is the magic formula that I would like you to think of all the time, okay? That is what I'm going to go off of. What do I know? I know the scale factor, and I need to know one of these two items or else I can't solve anything, right? So for the length, let's figure out the length here. I hope you can see that. Yeah. So I'm going to go 0.02 is equal to, I know the diagram length, right? Which is 5 centimeters. And this is my unknown here. That's my unknown. What do I do there? I've got a couple options. Do you remember the power of 1? The power that number 1 has? That's what I'm trying to say there. Right. So what I'm going to do here is I always start on the side of where the variable is. Okay, you go outside of high school, you graduate, you might go to college or university, and you might have something like this. Go to the side where the unknown is. So in this case, it's the right side. You start with the number, you cross multiply, and then you divide. Okay, so for length, it's really 5 times 1. I'm going to show it, but I'm not going to actually type it into my calculator, and divide it by 0.02. So it's basically 5 divided by 0.02. That's 250 what? Centimeters, right? Can we quickly convert it? 1 meter has 100 centimeters. If you just know you have to divide the centimeters by 100, that's fine. You don't have to show this step. That'd be 2.5 meters, correct? I've got my length. Got my length, okay? Next, the same thing for the width. I'm just going to set it up one more time. Over 1, I'm going to say the width is 4.5 centimeters. I'm going to figure out the width. The width is 4.5 times 1 divided by 0.02. And it's 225 centimeters, which is 2.25 meters. So there you go. Those are the actual dimensions of the room. The master bedroom is 2.5 by 2.25. There we go. What could you have done differently with K? You remember this calculator is really, really good, right? 0.02. You go math, fraction. It's the equivalent of 1 over 50 if you don't remember, right? So you could have used 1 over 50, right, instead of 0.02. That's all. Same idea, same answers, everything is the same. Is that good? Any other questions? All right. It must be pretty quiet at home in your places, right? You don't talk at home? You just like sign language? I don't know. Anyways. What's that 6-7 sign? Anyways. What I was going to do is, I hope you did, you scanned the QR code. Did it work? It's not corrupted? It's still clean? All right, I'm happy about that. I'm going to ask you for a brief moment, I'm going to ask you to try 29. This is a classic question. See if you can do this one. Draw it out if you need, do a little sketch. I think what I'm going to do as you start working, I'm going to write down the answers so that as you're working through it, you know whether or not you need to like raise your hand and ask for clarification. Okay? So try page 29, and then I'm going to keep going. We're going to take this a little further. Okay? The scale used, if you want to write this down. Scale factor, I'm going to say how much smaller or larger. I'm going to leave that part for now. I want you to think about that one before I just give it away. And for D, you're supposed to get $252. Including taxes. And for E, it's supposed to be 22.5 inches. The width, you can state it in feet if you want, but I would prefer it to be in inches. I'm kind of sticking with, right, the scale model. We were given that length in inches. That's why the width of the model, I stick with inches as well. Okay, give it a try. Before we continue. So when it comes to scale, you're given the actual dimensions and the scale model dimensions, right? So I'm going to emphasize that I want to match length with length, right? By definition, the first one is the length, the first number, if it's given like that. So for this, the scale, just make sure you use this format, and I'm going to use diagram actual, right? That's why I stated it like this. And different units are fine, just make sure no decimals, right? So that would be your answer. The scale factor, I'm going to actually do that here, right? I'm going to use K. I'm going to use 30 inches over 20 feet. And you choose which one you want to convert. So if you want to convert those feet to inches, right, you say that 1 foot has 12 inches, you cancel out the units, and then you realize you're also going to cancel out the inches, right, by doing that. So it's 30 times 1 is 30, 12 times 20 is 240, right? And trailing zeros can be canceled when they're in fraction, right? So it's 3 over 24. Yes, you can go even further, 1 over 8. Either one is fine. I'm not going to take marks off for not reducing. If you divide that, you get 0.125. If you turn that into a decimal, 12.5%. That's how I did that one. C, how much larger or smaller is the model? And remember, 100% is like our baseline. So I'm going to go 100%. Minus 12.5%, right? And I'm left with 87.5% is the change that happened to get me from 100 to there. So reduced by 87.5%. That's what I would want to see there. For D, the pool floor needs to be covered with a liner which comes in cans that cover 115 square feet. Calculate the total cost, right? If each can is $75. So the area of the floor is just length times width. right? That's 300 square feet. And then you figure out how many cans are required. Morning, Aries. You can just leave it, that's fine. 300 divided by 115, and that's approximately, or that's exactly 2.608 cans. So we're going to turn that into 3 cans. Okay, so that's always, remember this for grade 12, okay? We don't buy partial units, so you have to round to 3. So cost is 3 cans times 75, and I'm going to just add taxes to it already, and so that is where you get 252, that number, right? So that's my final answer. E, determine the width of the model. That's where you use this again. Width of diagram, width of actual. Okay, remember this one. If you remember, you can't see that. If you remember that formula, you can basically find anything you want. So K, we already determined, is 3/24 or 1/8. I know the width of the actual pool is 15 feet. So I'm going to find the width here of the diagram, in a sense. Okay, so you cross multiply and divide. So width is just 15 times 1 divided by 8. If you do that, you get my key is a little off, or different. 1.875 feet. Because I am in feet, those are the only units that are there. I'm going to go ahead and convert that. 1 foot has 12 inches. Cancel the feet. So it's this times 12 that you want, right? Slow down, Mr. Dirksen. It's too fast. It's okay. You got it. Okay, you can watch it over the weekend. It's a lot of fun. Okay, 22.5 is the width of the diagram. Okay. I'm going to show you a different way of doing this one, right? Or you can do this on a side here. You could have used, without conversions, you could have used this one right here, 30 inches over 20 feet, okay? So if you wanted to use it that way, because sometimes that's faster than having to convert. So 30 inches, that's my diagram, and this is the actual, right? So we're comparing length of diagram, length of actual. You could have said, hey, if the width of the actual is 15 feet, so you got to match the units, how many inches? So when you do it this way, you would actually get your answer in inches already. So it kind of saves you a little bit of time. So it's 15 times 30 divided by 20, and that gives you 22.5 inches already. So it saves you the conversion part. So yes, it's okay to do it that way, because here I'm not asking you for the scale factor, so you can use whatever method you would want. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop there.